I, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
and conscientiously
fulfill
fulfill
my duties
my
as President
as President
of the Philippines.
of the Philippines.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Rodrigo Roa Duterte runs for president on the promise of change and wins behind the strength of 60 million votes. He hits the ground running and immediately launches his controversial war on drugs.
Through Project Double Barrel, the Philippine National Police hopes to eradicate illegal drugs in the country within 3 to 6 months. More than 1 million voluntarily surrender through Oplan Tokhang, and thousands die in police operations nationwide.
Critics led by Senators Laila De Lima and Antonio Trillanes IV,
former U.S. President Barack Obama, former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon,
both Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch,
slammed Duterte's bloody war on drugs,
and the extrajudicial killings and human rights violations night after night.
Duterte's response to cost the hell out of his critics.
I am a president of a sovereign state. I do not have any master except the Filipino people. Putang ina, mamurahin kita dyan sa forum na.
Meron kayong statement, kung lumaban, patayin. Kung hindi lumaban, palabanin. Ano mo bang ibig sabihin nun?
De Lima initiates a probe into the alleged extrajudicial killings in the war on drugs. Ex-Davao Death Squad members spill the beans on Duterte.
But Duterte turns the tables on De Lima. The president accuses De Lima of being the mastermind of the believed drug trade.
The president's allies in the House of Representatives, meanwhile, begin a probe into the allegation.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre presents high-profile convicts as witnesses against De Lima.
This culminates in De Lima's arrest in February.
At the same time, Duterte distances the Philippines from the US, its longtime ally, and pivots to China. Duterte sets aside the Hague ruling on the West Philippine Sea. In return, China pledges to give the Philippines billions of dollars in loans,
most of which will fuel Duterte's ambitious infrastructure program, Build, Build, Build. But all big-ticket infrastructure projects will still be years away from completion.
What's going to be implemented soon is the Anti-Distracted Driving Act. Drivers won't have to worry anymore about the clunky implementing rules after they were revised. Plus, with traffic already this bad in the metro, there will be less driving anyway.
House Concurrent Resolution number 3 is adopted.
As far as I know, personal knowledge, I never held any American passport.
I believe I can fly. See?
But what about Duterte's allies in cabinet? What have they been doing?
The House works on two of Duterte's controversial pet bills, the reimposition of the death penalty and the lowering of the minimum age of criminal responsibility.
But in the Senate, both measures don't go anywhere.
In February, then Foreign Secretary Perfecto Yasay Jr. lies to the CA about his American citizenship. By March, the CA rejects his appointment.
2 months later, former Environment Secretary Gina Lopez is also rejected by the CA. This after she ordered the closure of 23 mines and the suspension of 5 others.
Other top officials also managed to get caught in various controversies.
Solicitor General Jose Calida justifies before the Supreme Court the Duterte government's campaign promise to give Ferdinand Marcos a hero's burial at the libingan ng mga bayan. The SC allows it. He also seeks a reversal of conviction for alleged pork scam mastermind Janet Lim Napoles in her case of serious illegal detention. The Court of Appeals listens to Calida and acquits Napoles.
Calida also defends Duterte's decision to allow the burial of the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos at the Hero Cemetery. The actual burial itself is done in haste, triggering angry protests. Duterte also kicks Vice President Leni Robredo out of the cabinet 3 months after she slams the extrajudicial killings in the war against drugs in a video played on the sidelines of a UN event. All this while Robredo is fighting an election protest filed by former Senator Bongbong Marcos for alleged election fraud.
Meanwhile, the SC also acquits former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo of plunder in the PCSO fund scam, while the Sandigan Bayan junks case after case against personalities and scams committed during the Arroyo time.
Despite all the issues and criticism, nothing sticks. Duterte maintains high approval and popularity ratings.
With the help of sophisticated online operations, bots, trolls, and propaganda, it's the weaponization of the internet as we know it.
But the biggest crisis to hit Duterte's presidency happens in May. Local terrorists who pledge allegiance to ISIS try to take over Marawi City.
To counter this, Duterte cuts short his official visit to Russia and imposes martial law in Mindanao.
He's the third president after Ferdinand Marcos to declare martial law.
But both the House and the Senate refuse to convene.
They insist Congress only has to convene in a joint session to revoke or extend martial law.
But others question Duterte's martial law declaration before the Supreme Court.
In the meantime, a lone gunman barges into Resorts World Manila. He doesn't shoot anyone, but he sets a fire that kills 37 people via suffocation.
Police say it's not terrorism despite ISIS claiming the attack.
A month after the president's declaration of martial law, clashes are still ongoing in Marawi City.
Duterte misses his first Independence Day celebration and remains out of the public eye for 4 days straight. This fuels speculation about his state of health.
And those are the highlights of Duterte's first year in office.
Join us again as we continue to cover and report on Rodrigo Duterte's presidency.